What's up, friends? We're starting a vlog. I'm going to be reading 3 books in this video that all are fictional yet have to do with authors. So this is not a memoir thing. This is fictional, thriller, and horror in which one of the characters is an author. This is one of my favorite tropes. As a reader, I am attracted automatically to novels that have characters who are writers. Stephen King does this a lot. Misery is one of the ones that I love. And these are 3 that all have that in common. And I've been waiting to get to these, so I'm very excited. I think I'm gonna like them. We will be reading Who is Maude Dixon? This is by Alexandra Andrews. This book is about Florence Darrow. She wants to be a writer so badly. She's a really interesting character. I've actually already started this one. I'm about 70% into it. And actually, I want to introduce these other ones and then we'll come back to this. Next, I'm going to be reading The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is his newest book, the same author of No Exit, which I loved, and it's getting really good reviews. This is a horror or thriller. I'm not sure exactly which genre it is. I guess we'll find out as I read it. But we're following this woman who reads a horror book and hates it, gives it a 1-star review, and then the author responds. I love this concept. The author responds to her 1-star review, and I guess they kind of go back and forth for like a tete-a-tete between the two of them, and it's set in isolation. Some things start happening in her home. She thinks that this author is stalking her. That's all I know about it, but I'm really excited to get into this. I think based on No Exit, it's going to be fast-paced, probably set within a short period of time, and exciting. So we'll see about that. And then this other book also has gotten a lot of great reviews, but some not so great reviews as well. I think it's a mixed bag. People that love it really love it, and then people that don't like it really don't like it. I'm interested to see which side I'm gonna fall on for that. But that is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. I believe this came out in February, and I got it from Book of the Month. I still have not read it. And this, again, is following Alex. She's going on this writing retreat to write a book. Apparently, everyone at this retreat has to write a certain amount of pages in a day. It's set at the home or the property of this really famous horror author. Yes, so they must all complete an entire novel from scratch during the next month, and the author of the best one will receive a life-changing 7-figure publishing deal. Okay, and then one of the authors that is there for the retreat disappears during a snowstorm, and Alex starts to think that there's something more sinister going on. From what I've heard, there is a really, really weird twist in this. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I don't know if it's gonna go full Wryly Sager, The House Across the Lake, or if it's going to be my kind of weird. So we'll see. First of all, let's talk about Maude Dixon. I love the covers of all 3 of these books. I love how they look together. Maude Dixon, off the bat, really enjoyed the writing from the get-go. The main thing about this on every review I've ever seen is do not read the full description in the cover. Don't look at it. Don't read the whole thing. And as I started reading this, I'm at like 70% right now, I think. As I started reading this, I'm like, okay, what is it? What is the thing that's on there? And I was so curious. I wanted to look at it so badly to know if I already knew what it said, if that was a spoiler. I got to the part where I was like, of course, that's it. And then I referenced the synopsis, and of course, yes, that was it. And completely agree with that. Don't read the entire synopsis. Read like the first paragraph. You really don't need to know that much about this going in. I've never read from this author before, and I really do enjoy the writing. It's weird because when I started this, actually I've been picking it up and putting it down for a few days, and I started it actually like reading along with the physical book in tandem, and I was really noticing how much I liked the writing. She's really good at simile. She's very good at passing time in a way that feels like she's only specifically talking about the important parts. We're following Florence, and she is a low-level publishing assistant, but she thinks she's bound for greatness. And there's something about Florence that you don't know if she's reliable or not. She is very eccentric, and she very much, the way she behaves feels like she's on the edge of something. Like she's just on the edge, I guess. Like you don't really know what to expect from her. The decisions that she makes are definitely questionable and have me feeling anxious for her because I'm like, why why would you do that? It's weird because I want to root for her, but I also, she's not a good person, I don't think. I don't think she is. Maybe it's an underdog thing. Maybe that's what it is, because she's definitely an underdog. Anyway, she goes to work for Maude Dixon, and Maude Dixon is this author who has written this book, but Maude Dixon itself is a pseudonym. And so nobody knows who Maude Dixon is. No one knows who she is, so she's very excited to get to learn more about this author, get under her wing. She goes to work for her as her assistant, and she wants to use this connection to further her own career, but also, like, how are you going to do that when you can't tell anybody that you're working for Maude Dixon? And that twist that is on the inside of this is really kind of where the story really starts. Honestly, I think there's probably too much intro. I think it's like 100 pages in when we find out this first twist. I feel like that could have come sooner because the story changes drastically after that. And right now it's feeling very intense. Like I'm just like I said, I'm anxious for her. I don't know if I like it or not right now. I guess it depends on how this is gonna pan out. Part of me wants all of this to blow up in her face. Anyway, it's Saturday right now. I start a new job on Monday and I actually have to go into the office. So I'm really actually nervous that it's going to not leave me with time to edit, not leave me with time to film, you know, while I'm working. Because the job I have right now, I'm just answering phones, so I can edit while I'm in between phone calls. I can watch TV, I can film, I can do whatever I need to do as long as I answer the phone. And this job is not going to allow me to do that. So I'm nervous, very nervous. But I'm hoping that I can finish all 3 of these today and tomorrow. That might be a little unrealistic. We'll see. Okay, I lied. I mean, I didn't lie, but vastly overestimated my ability to read 3 books in 2 days. Anyway, so it's Monday and I am about to go to work on my first day of work. I don't want to go. Anyway, I finished Maude Dixon. So let's talk about Maude Dixon really quickly. The twist that the cover reveals. Yes, it is a spoiler, but it is not the only twist in here. And there are several other ones, though it's not those kind of twists where it's like, oh my God, it hit me. It's the kind of twist where it's just like very cleverly woven and the dynamic between these characters is volatile. Let's just say that. As Florence gets deeper and deeper into this situation that she's gotten herself into, she's making bad decisions. But at first it's like decisions that any person could make, that you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like I can see a person taking it there. But then it gets more and more and more, I don't want to say unhinged, but I think volatile is the right word. And we really see the kind of person that Florence is. I do think the pacing was a little bit stilted because this is told in like 3 or 4 parts. I can't remember which, but the whole beginning of this is totally different from where this goes. Each part, it's like it evolves as it goes on. I really did end up enjoying this story. I think it was a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend this. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. It feels like a 4-star thriller, and I think it's been vastly underrated and underestimated. Even though it did make me anxious, if you like that feeling of anxiety when you're reading a thriller, you'll definitely get that from this one. It's different. I love that it's about an author. I think the ending is satisfying, and though you can probably, okay, so the first twist, even though I think it's not a huge spoiler, like it's not like the twist, it does carve a path towards the direction that this book is headed in. So I do think it's better to go into this blind and not know much about the plot. I will say it ends up in Morocco, and much of the story is in Morocco, and that part is fun. I think that's about all I have to say about this right now. Oh, I gotta leave it in 7 minutes. I also started the writing retreat. So this one, first of all, the audio narrator I'm not in love with. She's not doing anything wrong. There's nothing annoying about her voice or anything, but there's just something that like about her voice that makes it hard to pay attention to for some reason. So if you're not typically an audiobook listener, I would say read this physically, because I think you're going to get more out of it. There is kind of a book within a book as these people are writing. The main dynamic here is between Alex and Ren. Alex and Ren were best friends for a very, very long time. And then there was this incident where they were having an argument and Ren ended up falling onto glass and needed a bunch of surgeries to get it fixed. And we don't know if Alex is responsible for that fall or if it was an accident, but they have since not spoken, and that was about a year ago, and now Alex has had writer's block. She and Ren end up getting to go on this retreat with their favorite author, Rosa, who I am picturing as grown-up Lottie from Yellow Jackets. If you have Showtime and you're not watching Yellow Jackets, you are missing out. It is so freaking good. Anyway, Rosa is a horror writer. She's very eccentric. You don't know what's going to come out of her mouth, what she's going to say next. She lives in this quote-unquote haunted mansion, and all of the girls have to write a full novel while they're there. There's 5 of them. The other 3, other than Alex and Ren, don't really care about. I feel like I should know more about them. I should have retained more information about them, and that's going to matter because I know one of them is going to go missing in this snowstorm, and then it's going to get more depraved. Now, Rosa, she has this whole personality trait of she's like witchy. She has this witchy vibe. She likes that people think she's witchy. She also lives in this quote-unquote haunted house, this mansion where they did like seances and rituals and stuff. So I think that's where this twist is going to go, into that like witchy realm, not necessarily ghosts, but maybe, I don't know. And I could be wrong at this point. So if that is true, if that's not true, I don't know. That's just a guess. I am liking this story so far, and I'm liking this dynamic between Ren and Alex. There is this really, really wild dream moment. I don't think this is a spoiler, but it's like a female-female sexual moment that is really intense. It's definitely going there, and I like that there's this competition vibe between all of these women. Rosa's got some tricks up her sleeves. We do not know what's going on. I'm not sure how far into this I am. Probably like 30%, maybe 35, 40% max. So yeah, I have to go to work. But that's where I'm at for this, and that's all I've read so far. So I will try to catch you all up later. Hopefully I can finish this today. I'm gonna have to figure out my life and my like schedule and my reading schedule, because I don't know how this is gonna work now. We'll figure it out as we go, don't we always? Okay, it's now Wednesday morning. My goals are so far removed that I'm just going with the flow now. Like, who even cares? I finished the writing retreat last night. The twist was not what I expected, in a good way, but also this was just really ridiculous and over the top. I think that's what it is. I think I misinterpreted the reviews that I saw as this being like, whoa, that twist was wild. No, I think this book is just over the top in general. I honestly only took one note when I was reading this, and it was just everything is very erotic. It is very erotic. I read Ashley's review from Ashley's Little Library on Goodreads, and she said the word edgy, and I felt like that was really apt. I feel like this is edgy, and it's brave. This is brave storytelling, but it is over the top. If you like over the top thrillers, I think you will enjoy this. I do feel like fans of Wryly Sager would enjoy this as well. I liked the isolation trope. I liked that it did not go where I thought it was going to go. And I liked the dynamic between Alex and Ren that kind of pushed the whole story forward. Is this like a new favorite of mine? Probably not, but I had a fun time with it. While I was reading it, I never once was like, I don't want to be listening to this right now. I want to put this down. I had a good time with it. But is it a literary masterpiece? I don't think so, but it's not trying to be either. It's not trying to be. So yeah, I think I'm going to end up giving this one probably like 3.5 stars. I would definitely recommend it. If you liked The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, I think you would like this. If you like general snowy, isolated atmosphere and tropes like that, I think you would like this. There's also a lot of insight into the publishing industry, which is awesome, but also made me feel a little bit like, oh, like, should I even try? it's definitely discouraging if you want to be a writer or an author. But I think that also is a reflection of that, like, reality. I think that is reality. It is hard to get traditionally published. And if you are, they want it to be something that's going to connect to a very wide audience. And I feel like if I were to write a book, it would not have a wide audience. It would be very niche. So that's why it was a little discouraging. But otherwise, you know, it was a good time, fun ride, and I would recommend it. Next, I started The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This one I am really liking so far. I'm only like 15-20% in. We're following Emma. And Emma, she's got a like tortured past. Something happened with her husband. She was deeply in love with her husband. Something happened. Now she is house sitting at this house on the beach on the Washington coast, I believe, on this island. Another isolation trope, which I love. She is self-isolating. I really connect with her as a reader. First of all, she loves, you know, reading, which is awesome. And she loves horror, but she's just such an introvert. And I'm just like, yes, like, can I just curl up by myself and be alone? Especially starting this new job and being in like a traditional office environment for this week. It's been tough for me. I am overstimulated. I am so overstimulated and I'm not used to this. And I feel like I just want to like hide. Like, so I get it. Definitely connecting with her. She's dealing with some kind of loss. And she's alone in this house with her dog. Lycra? No. Lycra? No. That's a kind of material. Leica. Leica? I think it's Leica. There's a very small cast. She's never met the homeowner, Jules. There's Zeke. Zeke, I think is his name, who lives across the way. He's one of the neighbors, and they're kind of playing games via whiteboards and like telescopes back and forth. There's this author that wrote this book called Murder Mountain, and she gave it a 1-star review. He immediately wrote her back. She's read it on Kindle, I believe. He immediately wrote her back and is becoming more and more threatening, and she fears for her life. I've just started part 2 of this. The audiobook has changed perspectives, which is interesting. Where this is going, I don't want to say because I think that could be a spoiler. I do think this is going to be set in a short amount of time, like one night type of thing, and it's going to be like a survival story. She thinks she's being stalked by this author. He is creepy, and oh my gosh, okay. I highlighted this bit because it enraged me. This is going to enrage you. This is a part of his email back to her, HGK. No offense, but you're a female. I'm a nice guy, but I have to shoot straight here on this. Females generally don't like action or horror. It's just biology. Why are you even reviewing it? That's like me reviewing a bra. I really wanted to get this fucker. I really want her to take him down. They've definitely set him up as this like guy who calls women females. You know what I mean? Anyway, gotta go to work. I guess this is how it's gonna be now with vlogs. Reading while I'm driving and getting ready. And then updating you in the mornings before work. This is how it's happening. This is what we're doing. I'll see you soon. Hello, okay, so it's Friday. This whole week went by and I read 3 books. You know what? It's fine. I'm fine with that. I finished The Last Word last night, so let's talk about it. Okay, The Last Word, Taylor Adams. This was fun. This was fun. Wow, a lot of twists and turns. Another one that just like gave me heart racing anxiety. Holy cow, the stakes. You know what? I gotta give him credit. He is slick because he teases you. He teases you with, first of all, the dog. How many times we're in a situation where we're like, oh my God, the dog's gonna get hurt. Oh my God, the dog's gonna die. Oh my God. And I won't say whether it actually happens or not, but he teases it over and over. Same with our main character, Emma. Same thing, because every time you think she's got one, and then she doesn't, and then she does, and then she doesn't, and you're like, what's happening? Is she gonna make it? Is anyone gonna make it? Like, it's very intense. I think Taylor Adams had fun with this. I think he really did, especially in the chapters where we're getting the perspective of the killer and excerpts from their story that they are writing as like in their head as this is happening. We're following Emma as the main character throughout this, and we're like, okay, this is what's happening, this is what's happening, and then bam, we'll get an excerpt from the book, and the excerpt will be from the killer's perspective, and it'll be completely different from hers. So you know exactly how he's tailoring this story to make himself sound. He's making himself sound so reassured, so clever, so witty.
He was so scared, he was quivering. He had the gun in his hand, and it was just shaking, and I just saw something in him that was tender.
Shit, that's not a line.
He was so strong. He was so sturdy. The embodiment of a cool, collected man.
Funny. A lot of funny, really funny parts in this, which was great. Okay, so these are the books that I read. Now, out of these three, I'm trying to think which one was my favorite. It definitely wasn't The Writing Retreat, though I had so much fun with that one too. And I definitely did enjoy it. I liked all three of these. But it's between these two, Maude, Dixon, and The Last Word. And I think, you know, I have been kind of wavering back and forth, but I think The Last Word is the winner. I think it is. Everything is so catered to me, I feel like, as a reader, and it's just so clever. It has its funny moments, and then also, like, it's so tense. Very tense. Let's try to connect these together. Let's do it again. Let's bring it back. I know some of you were a fan of that last time, so let's go ahead and do that. We're doing the corkboard. The corkboard. We're doing the corkboard. I connect things together. I make connections between the books. That's really it. That's really it. Like a crazed detective. And so that's what's happening. First of all, we know this, all of these include stories that have main characters who are, say it again, authors. They are authors. They're all authors. All three of those main characters in each of these books are women. Love that. Love that for us. I like reading a book, listening to a book with a female lead. I just do. I relate to it more. However, not all three of these are written by women. Two of them are, one of them is not. The two that are written by women, I have never read from them before. The one who is not, I have read from before and really enjoyed it. And another author who I see do this a lot, who is very closely associated with Taylor Adams, is none other than Wryly Sager. Wryly Sager and Taylor Adams both write women well. They get it. They just get it. And so the writing, it comes through that they get it. They understand the plights. They're not so into themselves that they have to be like super macho. They get it. So they're allowed. They do it well. I appreciate it. The Writing Retreat and The Last Word, both set in isolated locations. My absolute favorite trope ever. Love an isolated location. Oh, all three of these books told in parts, either 3 or 4 parts. Very interesting that these authors all chose to tell these stories this way. They are all thrillers, although Maude Dixon is more on the literary side. I think it's smart to tell these stories in this way because you can focus on different parts that seem farther apart in a person's life, but that can then insert clues into the present time. And even though it's not necessarily that much of a time difference, but you know, this is before I knew something, this is after I knew something, and it builds that tension and it gives you a different perspective than you get when you have a story that's told just all in one chunk. Boys! Sorry, my dogs are playing outside. Maude Dixon, our main character, her name is Florence. In The Writing Retreat, we have a character in one of the stories that the girls are writing named, you heard it, Florence. So there's a connection there. 2 of these are books within a book, The Writing Retreat and The Last Word. Both of them written with a book within a book. Love this trope as well. Is that a trope? It's not. It's like it's a writing device, I suppose. I don't know what you would call that. But it's another one of my favorite things. I feel like just choosing this topic really is like already honing in, focusing in on a lot of the things that I already enjoy within books. So I think it makes a lot of sense that I liked all of these. All of these are also 300 to 400 pages, which is actually longer than I typically like. Like my sweet spot is like 275, 290, like just under 300. That's my sweet spot. But these ones all felt as long as they needed to be, exactly as long as they needed to be, not longer than, not shorter than. Overall, overall, my favorite of these I think is going to be The Last Word. After that, Who is Maude Dixon? And then after that, The Writing Retreat. I think all three are great. I would recommend all three. I know I haven't been posting content quite as regularly as I have been in the past, but I really, really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. I honestly do. Like, I'm going through a thing. I'm adjusting. I'm trying to fit everything in its own place and like still have everything, but I've got to make some adjustments. I've got to make some changes. So thank you for sticking with me and hanging in there with me while I do that and I figure this out. I will have another video coming up shortly where I'm going to talk about a few other books that also include main characters who are authors. So I think that one's going to be one of my top 5 find videos, so keep your eye out for that. And also let me know other books down below in the comments that you love that include a main character who is an author. Why don't you put a book emoji down in the comments below if you watch this to the end. I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget that life is short, so read Wryly. Cheers and goodbye!
Can I help it if I dream of you every